So over to you, Sarah. I'll let you
Sam.
Get going.
I was expecting dish and dash there, but I'll refer to that for you. Dish and dash the eyebrows. So hi everyone, good afternoon. I have to say firstly, thank you for joining us and giving up. I don't know what it's like there where you are in the UK, but I have to say it is glorious here today. So it makes it all the more heartwarming that you're missing the sunshine to join us. So thank you. So as Sam said, I'm Sarah, Sarah Emerson. I'm one of the regional manager team for Look Good Feel Better. I'm based up in sunny County Durham, and with me today, and I cover the north. So I cover all of the area where you're all based down there at the moment. I've got with me Sarah Stonehouse, and hi. Don't know why I needed to say hi there as well. Sarah is part of our volunteer team, and she's our lead volunteer running the Newcastle workshop for us every week at the Maggie Centre. She's a very long-standing volunteer and has been running the virtual workshops for us since the start of the pandemic. So she's really well versed to help you a little bit later in terms of your application. So I'm going to give you just a very brief overview of the charity and the services that we currently offer. And then I guess any questions you've got in terms of how you access them, just ask away. And then Sarah's going to give you a little demonstration presentation, a bit of a snapshot of a workshop. Okay, so Look Good, Feel Better. Who are we? Excuse me, I'm coughing away like Sam. So Look Good, Feel Better is an independent national cancer support charity. Whilst we are national, we are very community based, running services prior to the pandemic out of 141 venues across the country in collaboration with various medical partners like Macmillan, NHS trusts and Maggie Centres. We provide a unique service to women, men and TYAs. And TYA is our teen and young adult programme undergoing cancer treatment for any type of cancer. The charity was launched to support as many people as possible in managing the effects of cancer treatment, and that's on both the appearance and in terms of confidence and self-esteem. And as we're very appreciative of the fact that cancer is a really serious topic and a very scary topic, the self-esteem and confidence aspect is based very much on an element of control. So I guess what I mean by that is when you're in a position of going through treatment and your hair starts to fall out, your eyebrows start to go, you lose your lashes, you see changes to your skin, you can lose yourself and quite often look in the mirror and not recognize yourself, not know who you are. And that can have a devastating effect on both your confidence and your self-esteem. So the workshops are primarily designed to help restore a little bit of that and restore a little bit of the control. So whilst you have no control over losing your hair, you have control about what you do about it. So it helps you to take a little bit of that back and to regain a little bit of that. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, my tummy's rumbling. Sarah was talking about food and it's made my tummy rumble. I'm very paranoid that you can hear it. The support which is delivered is, as I've mentioned there, is by volunteer industry professionals. So Sarah, who we've got with us today, is from within the beauty industry, and as are all of our other volunteers. And they provide knowledge and practical advice whilst creating a relaxed and fun environment. And that is really important to us. And again, while it is a serious subject that we cover within the workshop environment, we do want it to be a little bit of a release for our beneficiaries and for them to come onto the workshop and kind of take the cancer hat off for a little while, have a little bit of fun. And again, it goes back to the element of control and normality, to kind of find themselves a little bit and find the person they were before cancer. So we do try to have a little bit of a giggle and provide a fun environment where we can. So pre-COVID, as I said, we were running our women's programme out of 141 venues. Sadly, because of the pandemic, we had to suspend our face-to-face service in March last year, and we're yet to resume that. At the time, we were running 3 significant programmes, and that was the men's, the women's and the TYA. So the women's service was very much centred around skincare and makeup, offering practical tips to help combat some of the more visible side effects, things like dry skin, loss of eyebrows, loss of lashes, which Sarah's going to cover really shortly. And again, some of the other things, you know, the under eye area can take a huge battering because of both the treatment and the diagnosis. It can get very dark. dark circles under the eyes, quite puffy, and skin can change quite radically. So the sessions are designed to help give you some really key tips on how to combat that. The men's session is very similar. Men like to look after the skin just as much as women do, maybe not quite as vocal about it, but believe you me, when we get them into a session, it's quite eye-opening, all of the things that they like to do and how much they like to look after the skin. We also cover shaving within the men's sessions because that's a really key element for them, you know, making sure that they have the best technique so they don't nick the skin, and talking a lot to them about razor care and razor hygiene, because I'm sure anybody who's got a chap at home will know just how bad they are for leaving razors lying in the shower for weeks on end or on the side of the bath. So we talk to them a lot about the pitfalls that can have, sun protection, scarring advice. And our teen and young adult program is very, very similar to the women's, and we cover the same thing, but we do it in a slightly different way. We have volunteers such as Sarah who are more relevant and relatable to the younger age group. And we slightly modify it to sort of more current tips and techniques, things like contouring. And the TYA program, it's really important, or it has been really important to us over the last 3 or 4 years that we've grown that, because the diagnosis rate for teens and young adults is lower than adults. But because of that, the downside of that for the younger generation is that they don't get to meet as many people who are going through the same thing as them. And we get a lot of feedback from the TYA to say that they hadn't met anybody on a cancer journey until they attended our session. So it gives that real element of connecting and being able to connect with others. So it's a really important program for us. However, because face-to-face is no longer running, what we have at the moment is all online. So once we were in a position where we had to suspend the face-to-face, we worked very quickly, adapted really quite tenaciously to the situation, and transferred everything online. So not only our current program of services, but we very quickly made connections within different industries to add to the program of services. So currently running virtually, we have, which it's great to see. We've gone from 3 services to what's there? Oh God, 9, 10. So we have got the core program, what we're known for, the skincare and makeup workshops, and we're currently running around 3 open sessions per week. In terms of skincare and makeup, they have absolutely flown, and especially this year, since we've been able to reconnect with venues, they are just going from strength to strength. We've also, in addition to our skincare and makeup service, we've been able to add online hair workshops. And this is in collaboration with, I don't know if you've heard of the hair loss coach. It's a lady called Jasmine, and she works very closely with the charity Cancer Hair Care. So again, like our skincare and makeup, they are 2-hour workshops, and they cover everything from scalp health. So making sure you're keeping your scalp in the best possible health. There's a lot of H's in there to get my teeth round, to make sure the hair is as strong as it possibly can be pre-hair loss. And then to help obviously encourage the strongest hair possible for post-treatment for when the hair starts to grow back, and covers everything really from products to techniques to massage, sort of scalp massage. And she also covers wigs and headdresses. We have also added a nail care workshop, and this one runs very, very similar to the skincare and makeup in that it's a show and tell format. So that again, it's led by Look Good Feel Better trained volunteers, and they take the ladies through everything from the challenges that can face with the nails during treatment, which what we get a lot of is discoloration. The nails can go black, ridges along the nails, and the volunteers just look at different tips and techniques to help in terms of filing, products to use, things to stay away from, and then takes you through a manicure. And that can be either with a polish or just with clear varnish. In terms of hair care and nail care, hair care, we've struggled a little bit to get as many sessions in as we need, but we've just slightly modified everything, and there'll be some communication going out shortly. We've increased the attendance capacity on the hair workshops. So hopefully we'll be able to start running a couple of sessions per month with a greatly increased capacity attendance. So we'll be able to obviously reach a lot more people. In nail care, we're running one a week. So again, we're flying out with that one, and sessions are being added all of the time. We're also just about to launch, we're in the final stages of a body confidence session, and that is working with image consultant Anna Shaw, as well as 3 other style experts from within that industry. And this focuses all about the changes to the body, both during treatment and post-treatment. And what we're obviously realizing very quickly with this one is that there's a lot of confidence issues and challenges left post-treatment, sort of quite a few months past post-treatment, with things like lymphedema, or if there's been changes to the body for surgical reasons. And it's really helping the attendees to reconnect with the body they have now, as opposed to getting really focused on the body they used to have. Is to think, you know, let's look at the body you have got now, to learn to I guess not always love it again. We can start with liking it again with the hope to love it again, but learning to respect the journey it's been through with the attendees, and I guess think about where your body is right now is where it is for the reason, for the reason that it is, the important reason that it is that it got you through the cancer journey, and just how you can kind of adapt what you do. So looking at your body shape that you have now, looking at your own style identity and what that style identity is, and how you can combine that with your body shape to get the real best image for you. She also does a section on colour, which is fascinating. So it's looking at the colour wheel to see whether or not you've got a warm skin tone, a cool skin tone, and the kind of colours to embrace and to stay away from, and the pitfalls of the wrong colour. Which is it's the first time I've ever done anything like this, and honestly I am absolutely fascinated by it. When she shows pictures of somebody wearing the wrong colour, it's just incredible the difference it can make on how tired and drawn it can make you look. And then a picture of somebody wearing the right colour, and just the difference it brings, you know, the vitality it brings to your appearance. So we had our final trial session, our 4th trial session for that last Friday. We've had a meeting today just to catch up to see if we're good to go, and we are good to go. So hopefully we'll be adding dates to the website very, very soon. And then lastly, we've added in chair yoga. And this sounds a little bit like, Sam, what you've just been talking about the session that you had last night. It really is all centered about relaxation. It's a young lady from Southend called Abby who takes this for us. And she does a small session on mobility. So if you have had surgery, if you've been left with scarring under the arms, or you've had breast surgery and it has affected your mobility, she does a lot of stretching and different exercise you can do to increase the mobility, but without actually, I guess, hampering whatever it is that's taking place. And it is very relaxing. I said to the ladies that were on yesterday, I am not the best person at relaxing. I'm a bit of a Tasmanian devil. I'm a bit 100-mile-an-hour kind of person. And she really does force you to relax. Lots of breathing, lots of meditation techniques, and lots of anxiety release work. So it's very, very, very valuable. And this is actually, I didn't talk about this yesterday, and I could have kicked myself when I went off, because this is actually the first Look Good, Feel Better session that is for men and women. So we're not doing, you can see I've popped it under the men's services there for virtual, but it is mixed gender. So we're not running separate ones. So we have had a few chaps attend with the women, and that is Look Good, Feel Better history right there. First session we've ever had where we do that. So whoop, whoop. But yeah, it's a really valuable session. And obviously you can see there the men's service has been transferred to online, and then everything that we offer for the women, we can offer, and for the men actually, we can offer for the teen and young adult ladies and gents. So again, we just slightly adapt it to make it more relevant for their age category. And on top of the actual workshops that we cover or that we offer, we've got a whole host of support that's available online. Now, yesterday, Jessica popped the website in the chat. So I don't know if you're able to do that again for me this afternoon, please, Jessica. But there's a whole host of support available online in terms of mainly tutorials, But again, there's different websites. So for everything that you want to look into, whether it's, you know, skincare and makeup, whether it's wigs and nails, there's a list of sort of additional charities and support networks that you can access. But for the women, you can see there's tutorials covering skincare, makeup, wigs, nails, head coverings. For the men, there's a whole range of tutorials covering skincare, grooming, shaving. And there's also a section on there which is clothing for men, and looking at things like body shape, different fabrics to wear. And that was all added to the website with Anna Shaw, which is how we connected with Anna to do the body image workshop that we've been working on. And there's also a selection of online tutorials available for the TYAs, and this covers priming, highlighting, contouring. Don't ask me any questions on priming, highlighting and contouring. This is why I've got the lovely Sarah with us, because she's able to sort of answer those types of questions, and it's the kind of things that the younger patients sort of want from us and need from us. So that is what we've got going on at the moment. Before I hand over to Sarah, is there any questions? Has anybody got any questions on any of that in terms of what we offer or how to access it? Might be a good time to, I'm going to stop sharing for the minute.
Can't see any just yet, hon.
No, not yet. Okay, well, I will hand over to Sarah, who is just going to take you through a real snapshot of the workshop. We'd love to have been able to do a full one for you today, but unfortunately time doesn't allow. But do, when Jessica puts the link up, do have a look on the website, because there's a lot of sessions available at the moment for you to access if you need to. But if not, I guess, Sarah, over to you to talk about Dish and Dash. It's my new word.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Stonehouse. I run the was running the face-to-face sessions at the Maggie Centre at the Freeman in Newcastle. We've both got a Geordie accent. So yeah, I did that for 5 years. I've been doing the online sessions for the past year, and they're lovely. You get just the same amount of advice. And the lovely thing is that you don't need to even leave the house. A normal session is about 2 hours. So we do go through everything from skincare, you know, all the way through base, eyes, some of the stuff that I'm going to go through with today, and we finish off with some cheeks and some lips. So there is a lot to go through in a normal session, and it's quite interactive. I do like you guys to speak up about things that, you know, you're struggling with, changes you found in your skin, products that you found that you love, because as much as I have 15 years makeup experience, you know, I'm not going through what you guys are going through. So, you know, something that you found that really works might be like a godsend for someone else in the group. So it's quite an open, chatty environment, and it is really relaxed. And you know, the way I teach it is the way that I like to do it, but with makeup there's no right or wrong, and some people have, you know, little to no makeup experience, or they don't like wearing makeup. Some people sorry, 1 second, I'm just gonna message my partner downstairs, because I don't know if you can hear that, but I can hear some sort of video chat.
I can't hear it, but I'm pleased it's not me, Sarah. It's usually me.
It sounds like some wars going on out there. So it stopped. so where was I? Yeah, there's no right or wrong on makeup. Some people have no makeup experience. Some people like love having a look on Instagram and YouTube and learning and doing their makeup every day. So I like to sort of teach something in the middle that is gonna, you know, teach people that have no makeup experience some stuff, but also the people that are really versed in makeup, they might just take away, you know, a few tips and tricks and hacks that are going to help them more in terms of with what they're going through. And I'm a firm believer of a little bit of the right thing in the right place is better than just putting loads of makeup on. I like my skin to look the most like skin, so if you're not used to wearing a lot of makeup, it's showing you how you can put the least amount of makeup on and still feel great. And you know, even if you get a few new bits of good routine that you take away with you that you do every day, like creating good habits, and you know, every now and again, once or twice a week, you do your makeup and you'll go for a walk with a friend if you're allowed to do that, you know, if you have the energy, and or you'll have a little Zoom chat with someone and put the video on, because you just feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more like yourself. And I think sometimes talking a lot about makeup might seem or sound vain, but it's really not. Like, I like to think about makeup as an amazing resource that makes you feel more like you, makes you feel more confident, and like it's really powerful. Like, I've done this for 5 years, and just saying that, like, I literally just got goosebumps. Like, it's such a powerful thing. And I meet people all the time and do these sessions, and like, it's called Look Good Feel Better, because it's here to make you look good and feel better. But boy, do I feel better like when I finish. Like, it's such a nice thing for me to be able to do. So I will raise the challenge that the group yesterday, one lady signed up by the time we were finished. So if anybody wants, because I know life gets in the way of life, and if you want to sign up for a session while I'm going through this, or while we're doing the little frequently asked questions, see if we can beat yesterday's score of people that joined along. Like I say, Jessica's put the link in there. And if Sam's already asked a question, if anybody else has any questions, pop them on there. I'll try and speak about them after this. I'm going to go through now a little bit of lash care, a little bit of how to do a really fine liner, which can help with loss of lashes and brows, because that's the one thing when I have a little chat with everybody at the start that everybody's just like brows, because they make so much difference in your face, even if you're going through treatment or not. So first is liner. Now, so many people don't do liner because they don't want to end up feeling too linery. They don't like it when they open their eyes after they've done it, because it's so thick and so heavy. So I want to show you a really easy way today to do it with just a pencil. And what you can see is that this isn't even a sharp pencil, it's quite blunt. So it's quite fine. So it's not as fine, so you can get right into the root of the lashes. And that you can go in and just frame your eyes so that when you open your eyes, your lashes stand out more. And especially when they start to grow through, or you're trying to make the most of them on the way out, being able to go in with some liner just gives you a bit more depth at the root, so that you can see the lashes more. And then also what I would recommend is that you don't use a black eyeliner. So this is called coffee. It's just like a dark brown. Because when you pop your mascara on, you want that to them to really stand out. So if they're black, everything behind there, you don't want anything else to be black, because if you have black liner and black mascara, they're just going to neutralize each other and not stand out. So, you know, dark brown, dark grey, even like a khaki or an aubergine colour. I've got an aubergine shadow in here that I really like, because it brings out the green of my eyes. So you can also, you know, make your eyes look stronger and change the colour with what colour liner and stuff that you use. So this is called coffee, like I was saying, just a really soft brown. And what I like to do is just show you on the back of my hand, doing small little train track dashes that are just going on in the root of your lashes. Because you're doing small strokes, you've got the control, and you can constantly adjust where you're going so that you can correct yourself. Whereas if you're doing big strokes, you're just kind of hoping you end up in the right place. Also, if you're in the roots of your lashes, you'll be able to feel it. So it almost feels like ticklish, because there's so many nerve endings in the roots of your lashes. So if you pop your finger here and pull as tight as you can still fully see with this eye. I've got so used to doing my makeup in the camera of the computer. So to start here, where you want to finish, because that's where you want it to be the strongest, and work inwards. And you're just doing tiny little dashes, and you'll really be surprised how fine you can get it. But it's really great because I just put less pressure on when I get to the inside, and you can go over a couple of times if you're being more tentative and more gentle. But when you open your eyes, like only when I go like this can I feel like I can really see the depth of the liner. But also that's really nice to do if you've got a few like lashes, or you've got a few, to make them stand out as much as you can. But also when you've lost them, what you can do is go in with the brown or whatever colour you've chose, take your finger and smudge it in a little bit, and then take a black and go in and do the very fine line. And basically what you're doing then is replacing the black that you would get from the mascara with the fine black liner, so that it frames your eyes. Because what I find when you can't put mascara on, when you do your makeup, it's like your eyes never feel finished, they feel a little bit floaty. So going in with the black there is going to replicate and give the balance that the mascara would give you, and that's one of the best ways to do that. A lot of people do ask about, I'll just do the other side so I'm not odd, do ask about false lashes. You know, can I wear them, how do I wear them, and stuff like that. And it's quite easy for me to sit here and say, you know, the best thing to do is to just be patient. Like, that is quite hard, but there are a few little lashes out there. C lashes are made for people with no lashes, so that there's like an extra little layer that helps hold them in place. Some of the people that have come to the classes have said they've really found the magnetic ones, where you draw on a black line and the line is magnetic and the lashes stick to those. But everybody's eye shape's different. I do find it's a little bit easier when you've got a few lashes to support them, but I do generally say to stay away from glue and anything that's just going to put pressure on the lashes that are coming back through, because they're going through so much that you just want to look after them, and that takes me really easy on to lash care. So even at any point in your life, looking after your lashes is really important. Just like you would look after your hair, and you would condition your hair, you can condition your lashes and look after them. So a lot of people also ask me about lash serums to help them grow and come back through better, faster, stronger. But there's a few things you can really do. So when they start to come back through, usually find that they're a little bit more curly, and you know, they just look like they want a little bit of TLC, because your body's still going through a lot while it's forming these first few lashes, and they just haven't got the love that they need, so you want to give them that love. A lot of the lash serums and stuff that people say are quite good are just got a base of castor oil, so you can buy castor oil and just use castor oil. But what I really love is coconut oil. It comes in a jar, if you haven't found the wonder that is coconut oil already, and it's hard, but as soon as it touches the skin it melts. So you can get some disposable mascara ones, or you can take an old mascara if it's on the way out, just keep this bit, give this a big clean, and just, you know, and then you can pop that tip in the coconut oil, basically coat your lashes on a night before you go to bed, like you're putting an invisible, like, clear mascara on. What you'll notice is that just helps the lashes relax a little bit, and helps them stay a lot longer before they fall out again. And again, like another set of new ones will come through. But everybody's lash cycle is different. People's lashes come through different after treatment. One lady said her lashes, one girl I did on a teenage session said her lashes came through amazing. So it's a bit of roulette of how they'll come through. Same with your hair, but just, you know, love them and look after them. And then also a lot of people sort of stop wearing mascara when they get diagnosed, because they kind of think, I'm going to lose my lashes, so I'll just stop wearing mascara, and it, you know, I won't have to deal with it. But you kind of want to hold on, like Sarah was saying at the beginning, to anything that makes you, you know, keep as much of you as you can. So if you normally wear mascara every day, still wear it. If you come to the session in the skincare bit, I talk about how to take your mascara off and not like be too aggressive on the lashes. But a couple of tips: a lot of the times when your lashes start to come through, you don't really see them at the start, when they're just these little sprouts, because the tips are very fair. So when you're doing your mascara, which I do all the time anyway, put the mirror at your chin, so you're looking from a totally different angle, and then you can go in and grab the lashes. one lady, Sam, there's just said that her lashes always point down. Now, I curl my lashes, which is really helpful to do. If you use coconut oil, they're going to curl a lot easier, but you do want to make sure, obviously, while they're going, they're a little bit more sensitive and they're either going or coming back in, that you might want to avoid curling them. But once they've sort of got a little bit of life back to them, you can gently curl them. You could even, Sam, if it's something that annoys you permanently, once you finish your treatment, look into something called LVL, which is like a lash lift, which is incredible. I recommend it to quite a few of my brides that don't want to wear lashes. And I know that isn't going to help you now, but I mean, right now you can't even go and get your lashes done if you wanted to. I have my nail appointment booked in for like the week after the 12th. So yeah, and then you're really going to want a mascara that is creamy. So you know how some people say, you should get a new mascara every three months or whatever. Like, really pay attention to how it feels. It's better to have a newer mascara than an old one, especially while you're going through treatment, because going onto your eyes and going back in and back again, you're more likely to be prone to eye infections and stuff like that with your body and how low your system is. So do keep an eye on how fresh your mascara is. You want it creamy, and wet. You don't want any of those thick, chunky, fibery mascaras. You just want something really nice and quite basic. And then also you want a thin wand. You don't want a big spiky boy that's just going to poke you in the eye. You want to be able to get in and celebrate each lash. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. And then brows. So brows are such a thing that a lot of people struggle with. So I could talk about brows all day, but I'm going to give you like a few quick tips and techniques. The most important thing is being able to draw them onto your face so that they balance your face and they look like they belong to your face. So when you draw them in, you're going to want them to start and stop at a place that suits your face. If you don't draw them in right, sometimes it can almost feel like it changes your expression, because all of your like expressive faces lie in your brows. So if you draw them too far in, you can feel a bit angry, etc. If you draw them too arch, you can feel a bit surprised. So knowing the points of where to start and finish can be really helpful. So while you're all having a watch, if you've got something straight, long and straight near you, a pen, pencil, eyebrow pencil, a makeup brush, anything like that, grab it, pop it on the outside of your nose, the inside of your eye, and go up. And if you've got a brow pencil, or when you practice afterwards, you can pop a little notch here, and that's your starting point. I'm really annoyed, and I hate teaching brows because my brows are pretty spot on, so my brows do start where they need to. If you've got anything that is overgrown this way, you can pluck those out, but you are also perfectly good for you to leave them if you don't like to pluck them. If you've got a gap this way, sometimes it's different on each eyebrow, depending on which hand you are. You can get a bit pluck heavy on one side, which can change the symmetry of your face. So if you've got a little gap, pop a notch there, and you're going to fill that in. Outside of your nose, outside of your eye, and up, and that's where your brows should finish. And again, I'm spot on the line. Most people will have like a centimetre to even a 2 centimetre gap on this bit, because the hair's just sort of overplucked over time, or over time they just sort of naturally taper off. So again, you can pop a little notch on there. Outside of your nose again, through the centre of your eye and up. And that's where your arch is. So that's the pivot point where your brow hairs stop going up and they start to come round and go down. So those are the 3 points that are going to help them suit your face and look balanced. We were talking yesterday, and Sarah mentioned about how there's so many different ways to do your brows. So you can use a pencil, you can use a gel, you can use a shadow, you can use mascara. And like I said, there aren't any rights and wrongs. It's about what feels good for you. I like to use a pencil when I want to go in and draw the hairs. so that they look the most natural. Gel is generally, or like a wax, generally more hardcore. It's going to give you a very bold, sharp brow. So if you're not seasoned in the world of brows, I wouldn't go there. They also tend to come in quite dark shades and go on darker than they look, so they can be very heavy. If you have lost all of your brows, or you're naturally fair or got white hair, then starting with a little bit of a base of an eyeshadow in a colour that suits your hair is going to be really good. Again, get a couple of shades lighter because it'll go on warmer. And what you can do is take an angle brush, got one here like this, and go through and put a little soft like template of a brow in first before you go in and put some hairs in to give a definition. So it's just you sort of doing a little bit of the groundwork with the shadow, and you could go in with a little pencil. And then the other thing is a brow mascara, and I've got one here. I love them because it's sort of when your hairs start to come back through, they can kind of have a bit of a mind of their own. It can also give them a little bit of colour if they come through a lot lighter, and you can just comb through. And again, even just doing this without filling them in just makes my brows look a little bit neater. But what I like to do when I fill them in, so before we did little dashes along in a straight line, this time we're doing little strokes, but we're doing them up. So it's almost like you're drawing the hairs on a feather, little feathery motions, because that's how your brows are. So if you can go in from the root and draw in the little hairs like that, it's going to look a lot more like you're replicating the hairs. If you sort of take a pencil and you start here and you go like this in a sort of compassy motion, you're going to give yourself a very fine what I would call like a 20s 30s flapper brow, which isn't going to make the most of your brows. So I start here and I go up and I go through. Now here to here is pretty spot on, so I don't fill that bit in at all. If your brows just go patchy, you know, just pay attention and fill them where you need them so you don't make them stronger than they need to be. And then I'm doing the last few up strokes here, and then I'm just starting to fan out and come down. And I've just got like a little bit like of a softer arch there, so I just bring that out. And I'm just going to do the same again so you can watch little strokes from the base up. So if you've got a few hairs and you have a little bit of a template there, you can use that. If you're starting to lose your hairs, start practicing as soon as you can, because the more you can practice before you've lost them, more you'll subconsciously put the way that you do them into your mind, so that you'll just sort of do it subconsciously, feel a little bit more confident. I've got like a hereditary gap in here like David Beckham. Everyone thought I was trying to be like David Beckham when I was at school, and I was just kind of like, I'm in the chess club, I don't think David Beckham is my role model, so I fill that in. So that's sort of how I find the easiest way to do your brows. In the class, we'd all do them together, and I can give you some little tips and techniques based on watching how you're holding the pencil and how they look, and getting them even and things like that. So even though we've covered these few things, is a lot more interactive on the workshop. But you know, liner, brows, and lashes are the three things that sort of frame your face. So I thought they would be really good to go through with you today, because they're the most tricky really. So you can also always have a practice. Now I've given you those tips and techniques so that when you come back to an online session, you've had dabbled in it a little bit, and you can be like, okay, Sarah, this is what I'm struggling with, and I can kind of go over that with you in the session. So I think I've covered eyeliner for Karen there. Tips for eyes and eyeliner.
One of it about dry skin on the nose.
That was just working back. So Sam, tips on dry skin on the nose. Rest of the skin is fine. The foundation on the nose is a nightmare. It is hard when you've got dry skin. Most people, and a lot of the skincare advice that I give at the start is based on the skin being drier. You are starting to come out of winter now, so hopefully it'll start to be a little bit easier. But when you've got the double whammy of treatment and winter, it's just so hardcore. Like I've got this bit of dry skin on my forehead at the moment that I'm really struggling to budge. But yeah, so dry skin is kind of a double whammy because you want to exfoliate because the foundation is sticking to all of the dead, dry skin cells on the skin, but you also don't want to over exfoliate because that can make your skin more dry. So try using like an exfoliator that can just be like coconut oil with a little bit of sugar in, and the sugar exfoliates, but when you wash your face the sugar will melt, so it'll leave you with a more conditioning base afterwards. Oh, Sam's just gone. oh no. Yeah.
No, she's not. She's there. Sam Lewis.
Oh, she's just come off my screen.
Oh, is she? Sarah, what do you think about I've just getting I do love a facial balm cleanser or an oil cleanser.
Yeah.
Now I'm a really, really oily skin, so I was very skeptical about using things like a balm or an oil. And I've just getting a Rituals cleansing balm, cleansing oil. And when it comes out, well, actually, it's a gel that turns to an oil.
Yeah.
Because I can get quite, not so much the top of my nose, but I'm thinking maybe Sam might be referring to, I get very dry down here.
Yeah.
I get quite congested, so I do exfoliate. But I've started using the Rituals cleansing gel, which turns to an oil. It comes much like the polish, the Liz Earle polish. It comes with the cloth.
Yeah.
And I've seen a massive difference to my skin. I mean, what would that be good, or is that no good because it's everywhere and you're not tackling that targeted area?
No, it is good. Like, it is good to, lightly exfoliate your skin all the time anyway, because it's going to promote new skin coming through. You'll find like your makeup will just sit better, it'll stay better, your skin will feel better when you've got no makeup on. And also the less dead skin that you have on the top, when you put things on like serums and moisturizers, they're not going to be burdened with getting through all of the dry skin before they help like the fresher, newer skin. So you're going to find that everything else that you put on is going to benefit from that as well. I do go through quite a lot of skincare at the start. I'm not a massive skincare buff in that I don't use loads of things. Skincare doesn't have to be complicated. It also doesn't have to be expensive, and everybody is different. So one thing, like I've got acne, and sort of I found what works for me. And when I then gave the advice to other people, I thought this is just going to sort them out because they've got acne, and it didn't work for them because everybody's root cause is different. Dairy makes my skin break out, and when I spoke to someone else, they said, oh, dairy gives me like eczema. So everybody's skin's different, but like cleansing's a massive thing at the moment. A lot of people talk about double cleansing. So if you're wearing makeup, you basically cleanse once to take the makeup off, and then you cleanse again to flush the skin out and look after you and hydrate your skin if you're using like a cleansing oil or a cleansing balm. But I think a lot of people think that when they cleanse the skin to clean it, it should feel dry and tight, like it's clean, but that's actually you taking the oils off the top layer of your skin, which is going to make your skin more dry. And even if you've got oily skin, oily products aren't bad. They won't make your skin more oily. They'll actually balance the level of oil on your skin, and that's something I learned the hard way. Like stay away from tea tree and stuff like that. And the more I use oil on my skin, the less oily my skin gets, because it's getting the oil that it needs and it's slowing down the oil production.
So sorry, I was going to say, can I ask you, the nose thing? My nose is really dry. The rest of it's okay. I think it's, what type of thing would you put on top of that before you put your foundation on, so that it doesn't get cloggy and caught up in it? Do you know what I mean? Is there anything specific? Or I know there's a difference in different foundations that you can get as well. So if you could cover that, that'd be good.
I'd probably say a primer for the nose is going to be the best thing. When you wear a primer, you don't have to put it all over. Like, so, if you only get oily, like you can just put it at the front here. But if your skin's sort of dry, it's given something between the dry skin and the foundation. If your skin is also if your skin's dry and you put foundation on and the skin isn't hydrated, what happens is your skin will absorb all of the moisture straight out of the foundation, so it will make the foundation almost feel like a powder. There's got no moisture in it, and then it's more likely to come off and looking more flaky. So a primer in between is going to be like, I talk about serums and primers like little invisible best friends, and you only need them if and when you need help. So I'd get a primer, just pop it on the nose so you've got some, like a little invisible friend between the dry skin and the foundation, and I'd probably say that would be the best way to go in terms of that. But there's so many different ways to approach it, whether you approach from the skincare, from the primer, from the foundation, and stuff like that. I did have a bride once, and I did quite a few trials with it, and it literally didn't matter what I put on her, any combination of what she used at home, skincare wise, what primer I put on, what foundation I put on, her nose, like the pores did this weird thing, but it wasn't dry, it was like oily. It made these like little like oil spots. Yeah. And I had a nightmare with that. So, you know, it's not like I have all the answers and I can cure everything. Even every now and again I'll get like a client, I'll just be like, why isn't this doing what it should do? What it does on like 99.9 so percent of people. Does anybody else have any more questions?
Would you put an oil under a foundation?
No. So I usually kind of say that on a morning, do your skincare. If you put in foundation on, put a serum on, put a moisturizer on, but you want something that's going to soak into your skin a little bit more, because putting an oil on underneath is going to stay oily on the surface, and then when you come to put your foundation on, there's going to be too much slip and it won't like adhere, and you'll just feel like it keeps like going around in little circle streaks, and it's just kind of going to melt off. If you were doing your skincare and you're not going anywhere, pop an oil on in the morning, but I love an oil on a night. I have some cold pressed rose hip seed oil that I adore. So good, my boyfriend stole it and use it for himself, but it's an oil, it doesn't block the pores, it's really nice and light, and it feels like a treat, and I put that on every night, and like I was sort of religiously using it, and I loved it, and it's the only thing that's calmed this down. And I stopped, you know, when you just stop doing those things that are good for your skin because you just fall out of a bad habit, out of a good habit. And I used it again the other day, and straight away the next morning my skin just felt so nice. So grab some rosehip oil if you can. Again, this one isn't expensive. Some of the most basic products are the best ones, because they're not overcomplicated, and especially when your skin's a little bit more sensitive, it can be the best approach, really.
One more from me.
Yeah.
So moisturizer or serum, or both?
Both. So always use a moisturizer, but your serum goes on first. So the serum goes in deeper into your skin.
Locking mechanism, isn't it?
Yeah. So I like to think of it as serum, and then I seal it with the moisturizer. If you do it the other way, the serum can't get through the moisturizer to your skin to do anything good. What you'll notice is that most serums, when you put them on, will like disappear.
Yeah.
Because they're soaking into your skin, and then you can seal it with a moisturizer. But you know, if you do your skincare every day and you put moisturizer on and your skin feels fine, you don't necessarily need a serum. But if if there's something that you want to target, so my serum targets my blemishes, stops my pores getting blocked, then you've got ones with like retinol in, you've got ones that'll hydrate your skin. Acids aren't always bad, so I think the word acid makes everyone go, oh, it's going to peel my skin off, but hyaluronic acid is a humectant, and it actually draws moisture to your skin. So my new toner's got hyaluronic acid in to help with the dryness that I've got going on at the moment, and that draws
that's an oldie special, isn't it?
It is an oldie special.
I recognize that.
Yeah, so I've been doing the classes for a while, and you get a toner in the kits, but I don't have a toner at home. So every time I got to the toner section, I was like, if you've got a toner, you can put your toner on here. And then I thought, I'm going to get a toner. So I got the one from Aldi because it's raw, it's moisturising and calming, which was great for my skin at the moment. It's got rose in and elderflower. The rose smells amazing. Hyaluronic acid's gonna draw the moisture to my skin, and it's really, really nice. Toners are good for your pores. If you find I'm just basically giving you all the tips now. Your skin, you get hot and bothered through the day.
Oh, missed it.
Depending on your treatment, depending on your age, depending on like, you know, just how warm you are. Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, and keep your cleanser, your toner, your serum, your moisturizer in the fridge. It helps them stay nicer for longer, but also when you put them on, they're really refreshing because they're cooler, and that really helps with pores. You
can get the little misting bottles, can't you, Sarah? So you know when you go to Boots and stuff, and you can get all the your travel size.
Hydrated.
Sometimes you get little packs that come with misting bottles, and to mist it,
lovely.
To sort of refresh your skin and refresh your makeup throughout the day is amazing.
Well, that's gone.
Do you know Aldi's skincare gets the most incredible write-up? So does it sun care. Gets the most.
We have a lot of number 7 skincare that gets donated, and that's all lovely. It's all like hypoallergenic, so like it's really good for people going through treatment, which is why it's in there a lot. So yeah, there's a lot to play around with. There's a lot more makeup to play around with in general now because people are a lot more aware.
I think it's just finding one that suits you, isn't it? Because I've tried other moisturisers, and some moisturisers, they just block my pores, whereas a serum alone sometimes is enough, and my skin goes really nice with just a serum. It's just playing around with it, isn't it? And finding
then you would just use like a lighter moisturiser.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to skincare, I think you've got to be prepared. It's a bit like when you're dating when you're
I was going to say kiss a few frogs.
It is. You have, that's exactly it. You've got to be prepared to kiss a few frogs. And I mean, my skin is, I get dry patches around my nose like you, Sam, but I'm really, really prone to breakouts on my mouth and my jaw. And I haven't got sensitive skin, as in I'm allergic to anything, but anything which doesn't suit my skin breaks us out. And honestly, when I think back over the the last 5 to 10 years, finding skincare that really suits my skin, it is a bit of a labor of love. You've got to be kind of prepared to think, I'm going to try that and not like it, and think, right, okay, I don't like that, it doesn't work, and try something else. And I think people do that and think, sorry, Sarah, that people do that, get put off and think, oh, what a faff. Yeah. And so kind of go no further through the process. So don't really get to that point where they get a collection of stuff that really works for them.
But also I think paying attention to your skin like periodically, like every 3 months, like you might have a different moisturizer in the winter that you have in the summer because your skin's getting more vitamin D from being outside and it won't be as dry. But like, you know, your health, your diet, the weather, all sorts of things can affect your skin. So it's so easy to get in a rut and then turn around and be like 2 or 3 years later, I'm doing the same makeup. Does it suit my face shape? Does it suit my hair color, which I've changed 3 times? Does it suit like so many other things? So pay attention and adapt and have a play around, have a little refresh in your makeup bag. Come to a workshop, get all of the other tips and techniques, and you know, I do it and you do it, so that you know, you know that you can do it and you've got the confidence, rather than me just talking at you for 2 hours. You've done it, so you know what you're capable of, and you can ask me any questions that you struggle with. So